Hello? And Atlas, I just want to tell you, these are my ideas for Persona 6. You don't need to go with them, but you should pick at least one. I said should, not must. And now this is my fan-made protagonist for Persona 6. Her original protagonist of Persona has to have an original name, like, Yuna Arkami. Her original name is Kori, and her original last name is Takamoya. And, well, she's actually, she's not really a transfer student, unlike others, and she's actually younger. And she won't be the leader of the crew this time. I don't know. I'm sure a protagonist should be in charge of a crew, but I think it's unique for one to not be in one. And I added some ideas, the same, thing to the fandom themes. And this is her alter ego codename, Wood. And the darker green stuff around the boomerang is supposed to be a vine. And now, unlike the Phantom Thieves, they actually are adventurers of the Lost Ark. Adventurers of the other dimension, not Lost Ark. Now, obviously, her arcana is full. And her persona is Mothra, which looks something like this. And now, the gang she's part of are called Raiders of the Jungle Mountains. And there are tombs that contain these things called soul gems. Each one being the 7 deadly sins, 7 kinds. Green is lust. Orange is gluttony. Indigo is greed. Purple is envy. Blue is sloth. Yellow is wrath. And red is vanity. Now, one of these members can become real greedy over getting these soul gems, and it will lead them to becoming some monstrous creature. The more greedy they are, the less humanoid they are. And there are more of these things. There aren't just one of each kind of color. There are more of them. Each crystal actually is those of a person, like hearts in Persona 5. And unlike the hearts, the soul gems actually is the certain sin that describes the person. But Kori does get greedy over all these gems at the end, rather than a traitor. And I know some people will like a protagonist that turns against someone, and Kori will do that, but then turn back to good. She gets greedy of these soul gems, and it turns her into this maggot-like abomination, and the final boss. Like in Steven Universe Future, with corrupted Steven. Go with the fans of Persona who want Persona 6's color theme to be green. And the universe they go into isn't going to be like the average crooked universe, buildings universe. No, we won't see that. Instead, we get this. Now, I took inspiration from the music video for Little Talks. And yes, there will be shadows around this world. And these are not the only things that will be here. We also have the forests, temples. This is what the temples look like. And yes, this is the cave inside the temples. And like the high tops of the trees. Now, we also got this. Also, her school she goes to is to Conjune with 2 O's, not a U. Well, let's change that to Maroon High School. Of course, she may be a high schooler, but trust me, she's actually the youngest of her group, and the rest are all college students. And now she actually does live around the place you're planning, obviously. And yeah, she spends her first time at Maroon School High, and there's one day where she's at this kind of cinema, but when she leaves near the cinema, comes this weird raccoon creature-like thing coming after her, but then we see the male partner that comes out of nowhere, saving her. And I mean the equivalent to Junpei, Yosuke, and Ryuji. That's what I referred to as male partner or big bro. And what I was thinking, and that guy can be, the rest of the characters are going to be anyone you want them to be, Atlus. And now this guy, he's really some mysterious guy who comes out of nowhere. We don't know much about him except that he's like some person. He's not really completely human, unlike the others. He's actually secretly part shadow. And where he lives in this apartment, which is near this laboratory of scientists who try to study the jungle mountains. And now, one day, during some kind of football game, we see the same person dress up in this mascot costume. Unlike the other schools in the Persona franchise, this one has an actual living mascot. It has an actual school mascot. This one's name is Ringy. And now, the certain person, after the football game, takes it off, and he does actually then carry the costume, and the protagonist does follow him into the cave that leads to some kind of the jungle mountains. And this is what leads the character to notice, believing him to think he's from the jungle mountains, but really he's just, there's an unknown reason why he's taking the mascot costume here, but then he lies it down near some kind of temple. But then, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this green ooze comes out and, well, grabs it. It was living green, bacteria-like ooze with a mind of its own. More like nuclei. And then, later on, you do try to help that person find the missing costume. Protagonist eventually, obviously. And by the way, her arcana is obvious. It's full arcana. And then, later on during your adventure, you are encountered by these humanoid shadows that capture the person, and, well, they don't really see you or the protagonist.